from a planning background as well, but you will see in there we had land use experts, we had energy experts, we had zoning experts, we had all kinds of people come together to tell us what could possibly be the best and highest use of that property. And also we have to figure in the community's desires and interests. Is it the property tax issue that's of concern to you? Is it the remediation issue that's of concern to you? Is it the reuse issue that is of concern to you? And at the end of the day, after we had that discussion in my community, we came to the determination that actually repowering the plant did make sense for a lot of reasons, including the reliability issue that the ISO determined was a need in the NEMA, northeastern Massachusetts. The cleanup of the site, which is, again, most difficult. You talk about all the remediation of the tanks and the other things. It's the structures that are really the major problem, and there's no requirement that we've found on this committee to tear those down or to clean those up. In the tax stability, the fiscal stability. The city of Salem property is 60 acres. It was a 750 megawatt plant. You're talking about 300 acres down here. Similar waterfront type property with designated port areas. So there's lots of perhaps mixed use things that you could talk about, including the discussion of repowering the site, because we had a presentation last week before the task force of the independent system operator ISO, who does believe come 2020, when 8,000 megawatts of older units like this come offline, that there may in fact be a need for 500 megawatts down in the SEMA, southeastern Massachusetts. So that may be a possibility down here also. But you as a community have to decide, with Speaker Haddad and the Senator, what you want to do down here. But it was a very useful exercise given the planning money that we had in Salem. As the Secretary said, take a look at it to get some ideas. It's not the blueprint, but it's something to take a look at. Thank you.
Robust community engaged process we have here, and to study redevelopment options, invite new investment for Somerset, and to secure support from state leaders.
Great.
And invite the new Energy Capital Parnters. So I'm almost done.
Great. Or I was going to say you can submit the rest of the written comments and we'll put them into the record.
One last thing real quick. We
Okay.
did have 147 residents had signed postcards that were addressed to the new owners of Brayton Point, Energy Capital Parnters, and it was saying that we agree, or the 147 people agree that it's to a timeline for retirement, or hope that you agree for retirement or transition away from coal, and to please cooperate with our community to study reuse options, commit to a cleanup, and negotiate a transition plan with power plant workers. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ray.
My name is Raymond Jusom. I'm from 1091 Prospect Street here in Somerset.
Sure.
The suggestion has been made that the power plant should convert to gas. Now, there's general agreement that hydraulic fracturing is proven technology as far as extracting gas from shale, but it's not generally agreed that it's environmentally safe. There's still some question about about the future of extracting gas. Also, we know that we're trying to move away from fossil fuels. Gas is cleaner than coal, but it's still a fossil fuel and it's not clean. We're moving more toward renewable energy. Given those factors, it seems to me that if it was economically viable for the power plant to change to gas, they would be planning on doing that. Since they're not planning on doing it, I have to conclude that it's not going to happen because things are too uncertain. They have to invest a lot of money without knowing what the outcome is going to be. If they're not going to convert to gas, there's no point in talking about it. It's not going to happen. If it doesn't happen, we're going to have a much more serious problem in a few years. I don't think we should rely on plans that are not likely to eventuate. So I would like to know what the power company, what their analysis reveals about the viability of converting to gas. Is this likely to ever happen? Thank you.
Great possibilities, not just the sites themselves that should be looked at in this concept, I would hope, but looking at the larger quality of life in Somerset and how the waterfront can enhance that. So again, I thank the committee would become available and the opportunity that this could be for our Somerset.
Thank you. And small point, but it is not less than 100,000, so it could certainly be more than that.
And as soon as the state, yes, sir, I will, 2 seconds. As soon as the state said we're not going to chase that plan, we're not going to make that an incinerator, the group began to change and talk about what happened to Montauk after. And shortly after that, Brayton Point announced that they might close, and then the little environmental group started coming together and talking about the transition, a just transition for the workers, a just transition for the community, how we build up the tax base again, what we can do in terms of clean development. Al Lima, we got the, help me out, the Serpent, Bill Napolitano came down.
More than 3 minutes.
And you've spoken 12 times, thank you. Anyway, we have
Twice, but you do have to wrap up.
we have charrette. We've done meetings like this, and I guess we're just a little bit ahead of the curve. So, with all due respect for the people that I've worked with for and we sat down with the union folks too, and that is our intention, and I hope that this goes forward as an open planning process, and I'd like to close with one word: renewables. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.